on Chapter 2, Lesson 7, percent of a number. Please turn to page 147. All right, I have a guest speaker. Take it away.
In a survey, 200 students choose their favorite snacks. Use the table to find the number of students who choose each snack. Fruit, 23% equals 23 over 100 equals 46 over 200, which is 46 out of 200. The cheese is 15 over 100, which is 30 over 200, which is 30 out of 200. The veggies, 17% equals 17 over 100 equals 34 over 200, so 34 out of 200. The cookies, which is 15%, equals 15 over 100, which equals 30 over 200, which equals 30 out of 100.
200.
200.
Yep, keep going.
The chips, which is 18%, is 18 out of 100, which is 36 out of 200, so 36 out of 200. Then the ones with no snack is 12%, so 12 over 100, which is 24 over 200, so 24 out of 200.
Great, and then to check our responses, we just need to write the numbers in. We have 46, 30, 34, 30, 36, and 24. If we add them up, we should get 200. How does finding the percent at a rate per 100 help to find the number of responses out of 200? We know the relationship is 1 to 2, so it helps us in solving problems. Preston, thank you so much for being a guest speaker. Turn the page. All right, to find the percent of a number. Oh, that's a key word. O-F. Oh, and if I fill that O in, it becomes a, you guessed it, multiplication. So to find the percent of a number is the same thing as saying percent times the number. All right, and we have two choices when we do this. We have the choice of either converting it to a fraction or a decimal. In the first method, we're going to convert it to a fraction. So in this case, we're talking about cheese, which is 15%. 15 over 100 times, and we have 300 students. 300 over 1. 100 goes into 300. 3 times 15 times 3 is 45, and we have solved this problem. Now, let's look at method 2. Okay, so method number 2 is converting our 15% to decimal. To go from percent to decimal, it's 2 to the left. So we do 2 bunny hops, and that puts us at 0.15. So then we have 0.15 times 300. And you're like, Miss Morris, you can't set it up like that. Yes, you can, because these zeros have no value. I can write it like this, 0, 0. Then 3 times 5 is 15, carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. I have a decimal point 2 in, so I have my 2 in a box. I knew I have to do 2 bunny hops, 1, 2, and I get 45. Was that the answer that I got in method 1? Yes, they match. Okay, you're now going to figure out chips. Chips is 18%. Come back when you got your answer. See you soon. Pause the video. Did you get 54? 18 over 100 times 3 over 1. 100 goes into 300 3 times. 18 times 3 is 54. Turn the page. So now we're dealing with percents greater than 100 or less than 1. It's the same thing, you just have a little bit harder math. So in this case, we have 145% of 320. So of is multiplication. So that's 145 over 100 times 320 over 1. 100 goes in 320 3.2 times. 145 times 3.2. That's a 10, carry my 1, that's a 9, that's a 2, that's an X, that's a 15, carry my 1, that's a 13, carry my 1, that's a 4. That's a 0, that's a 4, that's a 6, and that's a 4. I have 1 in a box, so I'm doing 1 bunny hop, 1 in, that's 464. 464. Excellent. Now they simplified their fraction, which is fine, but I didn't want to think of a common denominator. I thought it was easier just to multiply 145 times 3.2. Again, your choice. You also have the choice of going 320 times 1.45 because that's 145% as a decimal. You'll still get 464. Let's look at number 3. Okay, so I have 220% of 65. 220 over 100. Well, we'll do it their way. Let's simplify that. If I cut that in half, that becomes 50 and that becomes 110. Which looks like I can do it again. So 110 cut in half, that's a 5, that's a 10, that's a 10, that's a 5. That would be 55 over 25. Okay, we'll try that. So we have 55 over 25 times 65 over 1. 25, they're both divisible by 5. So that would be a 5 here, and 5 goes into that, 1, 3. So that's 13. So then we have 55 times 13 divided by 5. But more importantly, we have 55 over 5. 55 over 5, that's 11 over 1. So now I've got 13 times 11. That's a 3, that's a 1, that's an X, that's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 4, that's a 1. So that would be 143. But more importantly, let's talk about the fact that we want to estimate. 200% of 60 is, 2 times 6 is 12. And my 0 is 120. And we got 143. So again, that makes sense. Now, that was a lot of work trying to simplify that. I would have done it this way. 220. 2 bunny hops in is 2.2. Now I can get rid of the 0 because it has no value. So I've got 2.2 times 6.5. And I'm going to put the 2.2 below it because it's the same number repeated. That's a 0, carry my 1, that's a 13, that's an X, that's a 0, that's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 0, 3, 4, 1, 1 bunny hop, 143. That was a lot simpler than trying to simplify that fraction. Now, we have a percent that is less than 1. It's less than 1. You still have to go 2 bunny hops to the left because percent to decimal is 2 to the left. So when I rewrite that, it will be 0.25%, 1, 2 is 0.0025, and I'm going to multiply that by 48. That's a 0, that's a 4, a 16, that's a 20, that's an X, that's a 5, that's a 2, that's a 12. I add them together, that's a 0, that's a 5, that's a 4, that's a 1. I have 4 bunny hops here, none here, so I have to do 4 bunny hops. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. My answer is 0.145. Look, they match. And if I think about it, I know that this is less than 1, less than 0, sorry, a little bit more than 0. It's going to be a very small answer. So be very careful. My recommendation is always to take and convert your percents to a decimal, multiply, and make sure you account for all the zeros in the decimal placement. See you soon. Get the problems done. Okay, boys told me to say, get it, gotta go. So, pause the video. Okay, did you get what I got? I got 704, 0.6, and 5.1. The hardest part of this lesson is setting the problem up and multiplying correctly. In the case of number C, it's 0.003 times 200. And again, I'm going to put 200 over to the side, carry my zeros down, and then 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to put 3 in a box because there's 3 bunny hops. And then I'm going to count over 3. 1, 2, 3, and that puts me at 0.6. In problem number B, I decided to simplify a little bit and then multiply. And I multiplied over here. Again, it's all about being careful. And I know that 100% of 550 is 550, and then 28 is a little bit more. So I know my answer is somewhere between 6 and 700, and I got 704. So again, my answer is logical. Always look at your answer and make sure it makes sense. Turn the page. Okay, the last problem. In a recent state Special Olympics meet, Franklin County sent a team of 70 players. 20% of the team completed the soccer. How many would that be? So we have 20% of 70. This is an easy problem. 0.20 times 70. 7 times 2 is 14. 2 zeros, 2 bunny hops, and we have 14 members. Excellent. Get it, gotta go. Pause the video. So I got 3 people. Did you get 3? And let's just check ourselves. 10% of 20 is 2. 20% of 20 is 4. 2 and 4, halfway between is 3. Hey, that works out exactly. So, do the guided practice. Come back when you're done. See you soon. Pause the video. See you in a minute. Okay, did you get what I got? In number 1, I got 19.2, 2, 1.21, 3, 11, 4, $10.50. All you have to do is multiply. Be careful. I did estimates. In number 1, I got 18. That's my estimate, and I got 19.2. That's pretty close. I knew this was going to be somewhere around 1. That's good. 275%, I said was 11. Wow, look at that. It was 11. And then 30% of 40 is $12. I got $10.50. That looks good. Remember, be careful when you multiply with a decimal. See you tomorrow.